My name is Emily, and I've always seemed like the odd one out in my family, not because of anything I did wrong, but because somehow my success has made me an outsider in the very house that raised me. I grew up in a small town called Ashford, Oregon, in a working-class family. Money was always a touchy subject. My mom worried about bills, and my dad avoided financial conversations. I learned that early, and perhaps that's why I was determined to change my fate. I studied hard, earned a full scholarship to Stanford University, and later became a financial analyst for a large firm in Chicago. Now, at 33, I'm not a millionaire, but I live comfortably. I own a nice apartment in the middle of the city, I travel to Europe once a year, and I've been sending money home to my family every month, a habit I've maintained for almost a decade. I never expected gratitude, but I also never thought that they would deliberately eliminate me in such a cruel way. I should have known better. My mother has always had a clear preference for my older brother Dylan, her golden boy, even though he's never held a job for more than a year. Whenever he fails, she pats him on the back, saying, "At least he tried." And me? When I was busy with work in New York last year, my mother told me I was putting work before family. My sister, Vanessa, never fails to add a sarcastic remark whenever I visit home. "Money can't buy you love," she once said, right after receiving the check I sent her when she was late on her daughter's tuition. My father was just as quiet as ever, not taking sides, not objecting, not defending me. Sometimes I wondered if he really cared. Still, I tried. I flew back every holiday, brought gifts, paid for every meal, and was always willing to help anyone in need. I always had a small hope that if I kept giving, they would see my sincerity. But it was all an illusion. Instead, they showed me my true position. The truth came out one December evening, at a small party at my parents' house in Ashford. Snow was falling lightly outside the windows. The table was filled with traditional fare, dry roast chicken as it always was, cold salad, and my mother's pumpkin pie. We sat around the table, and I smiled and said softly, "I can't wait to see everyone at the reunion tomorrow. The festive atmosphere really makes me miss home." No one answered. There was only the sound of glasses clinking plates. Then Dylan chuckled. "Emily, the meeting was yesterday." I was stunned. "Yesterday?" Mom said it was the 18th. Vanessa sipped her wine, her lips curling as if she were watching a comedy. "Well, Mom said the wrong day. I should have asked again." I turned to my mother, my heart pounding. "Mom texted me 18. I still have the message saved." Mom just shrugged. "You must be confused. I've been so busy these past few days." Confused? I wasn't a neighbor or a distant acquaintance. I was her daughter, their sister. They could have called. Just a text, a call. My aunt, who had been glued to her phone, brought up a photo, the whole family, smiling, hugging, surrounded by festive decorations. Dylan was in the middle, Vanessa beside him. My mom held my dad's hand, and my cousins raised their glasses. I was the only one missing. And me? I didn't even get a message. Dylan smirked. "I'm so sorry, I must have forgotten to tell you." Vanessa giggled. "Oops, my bad, haha." Something inside me froze. I put down my fork, stood up, and left the table without saying a word. Without crying. Without getting angry. I just left quietly, because I knew this was not an accident. This was intentional, and they will face the consequences. Outside, the air was bitterly cold, but the cold inside me was even more bitter. I pulled out my phone. No missed calls, no texts, no greetings or apologies. No one remembered me. I am no longer a second choice. In fact, I am not a choice at all. But I didn't leave Ashford. I came back. I wanted to see how far they would pretend. When I opened the door and walked in, the laughter was still echoing from the dining room as if nothing had happened. I hung up my coat, calmly returned to the table and sat down as if I had never left. Vanessa raised her eyebrows. I thought you were gone. I looked straight into her eyes. Why do I have to go? It was just a mistake, right? Dylan sneered. Oh my God, is it necessary to be so serious? It's not on purpose. I tilted my head. So a whole family reunion with food, drinks, location, invitations, and no one remembered to text me? Do you think I believe that? No one answered. My mother spoke, her voice trying to be sweet. Emily, don't be like that. It's a vacation. Don't let this little thing ruin the mood. I picked up the fork and turned it gently between my fingers. You know, Mom, I've been thinking a lot lately about the money I send everyone every month. The whole table froze. Vanessa shifted slightly. My mother's hand froze in midair. My father stopped pouring and looked at me. I kept my voice calm. You help Vanessa pay the rent, pay your parents' hospital bills, send Dylan extra money when he needs it, and yet you're not important enough to show up for a family reunion? Vanessa smiled wryly. Come on, you're not really mad, are you? Dylan interrupted. Oh my God, it's not the end of the world. You're overreacting. You have a great job, a beautiful house, and a perfect life. I smiled faintly, and in their eyes, I saw more clearly than ever. It was not comfortable. It was jealousy. It was bitter. It was resentment hidden behind the familial shell. You're right, I smiled, my eyes never leaving Dylan. My life is great, Vanessa snapped, frowning visibly. Emily, stop being a kid. We all said we got the date wrong. I smiled lightly, but inside I felt cold. Children are like the whole family organizing a meeting. By chance, forget me? My father was silent, glancing at my mother as if waiting for instructions. My mother pretended to be busy pouring tea, not looking at me once. The same old avoidance, the same old way they always covered for Dylan. Dylan shrugged and leaned back in his chair. Oh my gosh, here we go again. I always have to play the victim. I always feel like I'm at a disadvantage. I'll get over it, like always. I looked at him, not angry, just out of emotions. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because finally I saw their true selves. And then, he said it. Oh, by the way, I already ordered a new pair of Air Maxes, with the money you sent. You're not going to cut me off over something so trivial, are you? The whole room was stiff, as if suffocated. I slowly put down the napkin, folded my hands in front of my chest. A sarcastic smile drifted across my lips. No? Dylan blinked, a little confused, as if he couldn't believe it. I will really do it. He waited for me to laugh, joke back, or at least react as I had before, a little angry, then calm down. But this time, I'm not kidding. Then I said clearly, do you think I'll continue sending money after this? No one said anything. Vanessa glanced at my mother. My father cleared his throat, trying to come up with some excuse. But no one came to my defense, as usual. Emily, my mother said, her voice artificially gentle, you can't really do it, can you? You're so kind. I stood up and calmly picked up my bag from the back of the chair. Sure, you'll find out soon enough. Emily, don't be hasty, my mother said, a little panicked this time. We're family. We can't turn our backs on each other. I looked at her. Not with anger, but the look of someone who has understood everything for a long time. Family? I lowered my voice. They turned their backs on me a long time ago. I turned and walked out the door. Before I crossed the threshold, I turned back, looked straight at Dylan and said softly, Love the new shoes, Dylan. And I went straight outside, letting the winter chill take over me as a reminder. The cold outside is never as cold as the cold in your own family. I had barely gotten out of the driveway when the phone started ringing. Vibrate constantly. Mom calls. I let it go. Then Vanessa. I brush past. Then, predictably, Dylan. I curled my lips and said to myself, that was fast. Before I left the driveway, the first text message came. Yeah, haha, that was fun. I exaggerated. Can I transfer the money now? I rolled my eyes and put the phone on silent. Hands on the wheel, heart pounding, but not out of anger, out of relief. For the first time in years, I feel deliverance. No longer human suffering, always forgiving, always struggling to be accepted. I'm done. But they, just beginning to understand what consequences are. When I got home, I turned on my phone. The screen was glowing with message after message. Vanessa. Emily, don't go too far. We're family after all. Mom. You're not going to do it, are you? Your parents didn't teach you that. Dad. Call your mother. I exhaled slowly, as if each word on the screen was a weight lifted from my shoulders. Then, Dylan. He texted so much it made me laugh. Weird, man. Used to act like he didn't need anything from me, now against begging. Are you really going to break up over something this trivial? What are you going to do? Burn all your money on scented candles and velvet pillows? Okay, kids are like that. And then, the tone of voice changed dramatically. Hey, listen. I really need money. Hurry. I laughed. Ah, here it goes. It's not just the shoes. I ordered a new TV, a PS5, and a laptop. I raised my eyebrows, almost blurting out, oh, that's great. He spends a ton of money, completely based on what I will send as usual. Then the next message. This month's transfer was supposed to be due today, you? Please. I took a sip of tea and leisurely scrolled down to the next message. You're not going to answer? That's not fun. They'll deduct it from my card tomorrow. I almost choked. Dylan was really panicking. He, who had shirked responsibility all his life, who had been protected like a gold nugget by his mother, was now floundering over bills he had paid with money he didn't have. Why? Because he always believed that I would save the day, as I always did. But now? Number. The call was from Dylan. I didn't pick up. One more time, and more. Finally, a short, curt message. Pick up the phone. I leaned back on the sofa, a smile slowly spreading across my face. For the first time in my life, I was the driver. They thought I would soften again, that I would blame myself for being too hard on my family. They were used to manipulating me emotionally. But they forgot. I am no longer the ATM of this house. And Dylan, him, about to taste it, clearly and painfully. I put down my phone and turned on the TV. Just as I was about to choose a movie, the text message rang again. My mother. Emily, call your brother. I smiled softly, a smile half sarcastic and half bitter. Why are you worried now? Then another message, still from Mom. It's serious. He's panicking. You have to help him. I finished my tea, as leisurely as if I were reading the morning news. Then it was my sister Vanessa's turn. I'm angry, but stop it. Send the money. Dylan is really mad. I grin, the kind of fun mixed with a bit of cynicism. They began crack. Then Dylan texted again. Emily, if you don't send the money tonight, I'm in big trouble. The card is almost at the limit. Do you want me to default? Oh, new time too? I left that message silent for another 15 minutes. Then finally, a short message made me laugh out loud. Emily, please. I did not answer immediately. I sat there, my hand swiping across the phone screen, feeling a strange silence. No more anger. No more feelings of betrayal. Just conscious. Finally, I pressed the call button. He picked up the phone immediately. Finally. Oh my gosh, what have you been doing all night? I sat back, relaxed. I texted you. You saw it. I was just busy. Busy with what? Relax. Dylan gritted his teeth, clearly hearing through the phone. You don't understand. I interrupted him, my voice still even and calm. No, you don't understand. You spent money without asking me because you thought I would save you like every other time. A silence. Then Dylan's voice snapped back, full of denial. Oh my God, it was just a stupid meeting. You're punishing me? That's too much. I closed my eyes for a moment, shook my head, then opened them. No, it's not about the meeting. It's because I'm so tired. I don't want to be treated like that walking wallet again. He grinned. Do you think we're taking advantage of you? You have money. How about you help us a little? That attitude again. The entitled thing is in the blood. I laughed, but not happily. I still don't understand anything. Don't understand? You're too much. I don't want to help anymore. It's that simple. You can't give everything back. Not your problem. They will deduct from your card at midnight. Your account will be negative. I let the silence last for a few seconds. Then I said softly, and I will let that happen. Dylan choked on his words on the other end of the line. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. Just this once, the last time, I swear. I sighed, deep and slow. You said the same thing last time. And the time before that. Same old story. Emily, please. I almost felt sorry for them. Almost. But then I remembered all the times I stood in the kitchen, cleaning up alone while they laughed. All the times I was teased for being too serious, working too much, not understanding family values. And I'm cold again. You'll manage. Good luck. I hung up. A few seconds later, the phone vibrated incessantly. I put it face down on the table, not looking at it. Message from Vanessa. What did you just say to Dylan? He's going crazy. No reply. Mom. Emily, you are so cruel. He is your brother. You have to help him. I looked at the text, then simply brushed it aside. I have no more obligations. Finally, from Dylan. You will regret it. I laughed, a smile that was no longer bitter, no longer sad. Maybe, but definitely not tonight. I turn off the phone, stand up and go to bed. Let them panic. Let them be confused. Because for the first time, the good sleeper, me. The next morning, I woke up, stretching as if a weight had been lifted off my back. My phone screen lit up with dozens of missed calls and texts. Mom, Vanessa, Dylan, all trying to pull me back into the same old cycle. I opened the screen, sat down to drink coffee, and skimmed through each line as if I were reading the news. Are you really going to do that? I am not that kind of person. Mom said you've changed. Not for the better, but for the cold. Then, something new. Emily, I swear to God, if you don't send the money, I will come to your house. I looked up, blinked. Ah, now it is a threat? Immediately after that, a message from Mom. Dylan is on his way to your house. Please, talk to him. I put down my coffee cup and leaned back in my chair. Take a deep breath. If they chose this way, then okay. I've had enough. Now it's my turn, let them taste the consequences. I will play until the end. About an hour later, as I sat finishing up a financial report for a client, the doorbell rang. A sound I have been waiting for. I know who it is. I walked out, opened the door, and just as I expected, there was Dylan. He looked so terrible. Messy hair, wrinkled shirt, dark circles under eyes, pale complexion like someone who hasn't slept in days. The eyes that are usually full of complacency are now sunken in panic. Emily, he began, his voice hoarse and strained. We need to talk. I crossed my arms, leaned against the doorframe, and looked at him without a ripple in my heart. About what? I thought I made everything clear last night. Dylan bit his lower lip, his eyes darting over my shoulder as if considering whether or not to ask to come in. But not move sideways. He had to stand there, face the consequences right outside my door. I know I was wrong, he said, his voice breaking. But, can you help me with this once, just this once? I tilted my head, raised my eyebrows, and kept my voice calm. Sounds familiar? Just like before? Come on, he snapped. You have money. This doesn't affect you. I laughed, but there was no joy in my laughter. That's the problem, Dylan. You think my money is your natural right. You don't ask, don't thank, don't think. Just use it as a safety net. Like, I was born to save you every time you're stupid. He exhaled, running his hand through his hair, almost scratching one's head. You don't have time for this speech. They'll charge your card today. Don't you understand? I'm in trouble. I clenched my fists, not out of anger, but because of emotional repression, not pity, bitter boredom. I understand. But I want one thing only. You have to take responsibility for your life. Just once. Dylan's face twisted as if I had said something too cruel, as if responsibility is a burden no one should have to bear. All this, just for that stupid meeting? He hissed. Are you getting back at the family for some childish prank? I laughed, this time bitterly. This is so much bigger than that party, Dylan. It's the last straw, to be year after year being overlooked, discriminated against, treated as a walking wallet. Dylan now gasped. His forehead was covered in sweat despite the cold outside. He almost collapsed right before my eyes. For the first time, I was no longer the familiar life boy. So? You really won't help me? His voice trembled. Are not? He clenched his fists, his nostrils flared as he tried to hold on to his last shred of dignity. Then, as if a string inside him had snapped, he screamed, You're such a selfish person, Emily. You think you're better than everyone else because you have money? Bad news for you. You'll always be a poor girl who has to buy respect from this family. His voice was choked, harsh, venomous. And when you lose everything, don't even think about coming back to us to beg. We don't need you. I didn't move. I wasn't startled. It didn't hurt. I just smiled, gentle, calm, decisive. Okay. Thanks for finally telling the truth. Now then, get out of my house. Dylan stood there, glaring, as if expecting me to apologize, or lower your voice, or do anything. Like before. But I do not do. A few seconds later, he smiled faintly, disdainfully. Okay. Don't help, but don't think that's it. I crossed my arms, watching him mumble curses as he turned to the car, feeling nothing but relief. My phone vibrated as soon as the door closed. My mom texted. Emily, what did you say to her? She's mad. I didn't reply right away. I just looked at the screen for a moment, then opened the messaging app. Compose one last message, send to family group. I'm done. Don't ever ask me for money again. I press send, and I already turn off the phone and continue to finish the unfinished work on the computer. For the first time in many years, I felt real peace. No more worrying about unexpected calls. No more guilt for not helping. No more questioning yourself about being selfish. The days that followed were strangely quiet. No more ringing phones. No more repeated text messages. No more familiar pleading and sarcastic voices. My little apartment had never been so peaceful. My family disappeared from my life as if they were finally accepting the truth. I am no longer their plan B. No longer the default ATM. No longer the blame person when things go wrong. I didn't hear from Dylan. Not a word from Vanessa. Mom was silent. Part of me felt relieved. No longer caught in that chaotic loop. But there was a moment, just a tiny one. I felt empty. It's strange how something that once took your breath away leaves a void when it disappears. A week passed. Then a second week. No one contacted me. No one asked. No one needed anything from me. And I, myself too, don't think about them anymore. I spend my time working, reading in the morning, jogging along Ashford Creek in the late afternoon, tending to plants, and finally, take care of yourself. No more feeling like I have to make it up. No more struggling to be accepted. Every day feels light. Then one night while making chrysanthemum tea, the message bell rang. Dylan. I put down the cup and slowly opened my phone. I was wrong. I don't know what to do. Emily, please, help me. I sat down in my chair, my eyes lingering on each word as if I were reading a message from a stranger. Not angry, not confused, not hurt, just empty. And for the first time, I realized I was no longer scared. I didn't read it a second time. I didn't think about it. I just silently delete messages, already putting the phone face down on the table. The next morning, I woke up as the sun was just filtering through the curtains. I opened the window, took a deep breath, turned on some soft music, and started my morning like any other. No chaos, no worries, no pressure. I made coffee, checked my work email, and sat down at my desk with my to-do list. There was no transfer to Dylan or borrow money to help mom with hospital bills. There is no endurance. And right at that moment, I understood. For the first time in my life, I am living for myself. No debt, no burden. Don't sacrifice unconditionally just to keep a position in the family. Just me. And that's enough. If you've ever felt isolated in your own family, if you've ever had to pay with emotions to be recognized, then remember, friend, not alone. And you are worthy to live a life without burdens that do not belong to you. What do you think about this story? Share your thoughts. I'm always listening.